All right, back with the fellas. Carlos Pena, Dan Plesac. Let's play a little burning questions, and we'll start with Shohei Ohtani. How will the free agent year, the contract year, with the stock so high, play out for Shohei Ohtani?
Well, I'm looking north of $500 million for Ohtani, and I think that the competition is going to be fierce. And I'm looking at the team down the road here in the New York Mets. You know, are going to be big players. They're going to be in the mix for Ohtani, and they're going to go all the way down to the wire. So $500 million is not out of the questions. I'm thinking 650 for 10.
I believe this. He's
650 for 10. Hold on a second. 10 years, 650 million.
Yes.
65 million a year.
Dan, this is why.
Whoa.
This is beyond a baseball move. I mean, this is a world star. And that's the type of investments because you know the ROI is going to be there. The return on investment is going to be there.
I know this. Before the World Baseball Classic, I went on record saying last year that I thought he was going to be the first $50 million player. After the World Baseball Classic, I'm convinced he's going to be the first $50 million a year player. But I think this is what I think is going to play out. I think Artie Moreno is not just going to let him walk and leave. And if the Angels are competitive, I think they're going to make him an offer, and they have the funds. Now, listen, I get it. When you have Mike Trout, you have Anthony Rendon. They have a couple of big-ticket guys. I think somehow, some way, Artie Moreno knows that he adds a lot of value to that organization. I see him staying with the Angels long-term.
All right. Trout has a 12-year deal. They gave him over $400 million. Seemed like a lot of money at the time. Until you just opened your mouth. 650.
Nice. Hey, I know you're very frugal. I know you're.
I am very. Yeah.
However,
it's a nice way of saying that. $65 million a year would be the new record. By far.
When you crunch the numbers, just speaking economics. Let's speak economics, Dan. And you crunch the numbers. Maybe it's not the baseball move I'm looking at. I'm just looking economics, and I'm thinking to myself, financially, it makes sense.
He's a star.
Yeah,
he's a superstar.
He's going to make $30 million this year salary, but he's going to make another $35 million off the field in endorsements.
All right, another big question for this season. What are the realistic expectations for the guy who was formerly the face of the sport, Fernando Tatis?
Interesting. I'm not sure. I feel a little bit better that Juan Soto is going to bounce back. I'm a little bit concerned because I just don't know if he's played enough in the last year and a half, Carlos. And he's starting the year. He won't be able to towards the back part of April. And I think he's going to have a lot of pressure on him. He got off to a slow start in spring training, but he swung the bat better the last week to 10 days. I'm kind of wait and see on what kind of player he's going to be when he comes back.
You know, I'm prepared to say that he will perform at an above-average level. You know, and I think, I know it's kind of ambiguous to say it that way, but no, look, the pressure is going to be real. I know that he's has something to prove, and he's human. So I expect for him to go out there. The talent is just too good for it not to be above average when he goes out there between the lines. So that's what I'm expecting. What does that mean? I'm talking about maybe 25 home runs, you know, plus.
That's not what he was. That's not what was expected.
Yeah, that's what I said. But it is an above-average player.
Yeah, you know what concerns me is I think deep down he sees himself as a shortstop, not as an outfielder. But when you go out there and you bring in a guy like Xander Bogaerts is playing shortstop, and he's going to be in the outfield. I'm just hoping he can stay engaged enough during the course of a game and during the season playing the outfield.
It's fascinating. All right, the other question to ask, are the Padres the most improved team in the game?
Yeah, they are. And I think right now on paper, for the first time, I can honestly say that I feel like on paper, they're a better team right now than the Dodgers. I think their pitching is in better order. Their lineup is deep. Their bullpen is good. And from what we saw last year, the last 2 weeks of the season into October, Josh Hader went from a guy that looked like he was completely lost to the best pitcher in the month of October. If he bounces back and pitches like he can, they don't have any weaknesses.
And I would agree with that. I mean, and on paper, even though I still think that the Dodgers need to be dethroned, okay, I'll give them that. You have to take the Dodgers down. This team on paper just looks so good. You look at that entire lineup, you look at Tatis, you look at Machado, Soto, you know, Bogaerts. I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, these guys are going to score a lot of runs, but the staff is also picking up the slack, actually looking really strong with the arms.
Addressed a lot of weaknesses and brought everybody back, including the bullpen guys. Last question, do the Astros repeat?
No. I'm really bullish on the Mariners. I think having Altuve out, looks like at least 7 to 8 weeks when the season starts, it's hard to repeat winning the whole thing. I just really like the Mariners. I just think their position right now, I love their rotation. They're hungry. They have an A-Rod, one of the best young players in the game of baseball right now. J-Rod.
Yep.
I just think that they're beginning this curve that's going to be an upward curve, and I'm going with the Mariners.
They had A-Rod. Now they have J-Rod.
Yeah, they had.
You say they win the American League?
I do.
Okay, Carlos?
Yeah, I don't think the Astros repeat as American League champions. I think I really like the Yankees. I think the Yankees have put together a pretty good ball club, and I think they're a little bit more dynamic than they were last year. They were base to base last season. I think they're going to be running the bases a lot more, and having Volpe there is going to help them quite a bit more than we think.
I think it's a dangerous team to me, Toronto Blue Jays.
Oof, watch out.
I just think they're dangerous.
I think the biggest variance out there, Blue Jays could break out. You're right. All right.